By the way, universities are bracing for a massive hit to their international student enrollment as the Trump administration cracks down on student visa holders and applicants. New application interviews have been put on pause. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the administration will also aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students. And officials are working to expand social media screenings for international student applicants. More restrictive screening processes is seen as a potential deterrent to those students who currently make up about 6% of people enrolled at American colleges and universities. And their loss could be costly. International students contributed, listen to this, an estimated $44 billion to the U.S. economy during the last school year. So what goes into determining who can or cannot get a student visa, and how could these new policies impact that? No one knows these answers for sure, but someone who knows a lot about this is CBS News contributor Sam Vinograd. She was responsible for screening and vetting policy at the Department of Homeland Security during the Biden administration. Sam, welcome. So explain to us.
Good morning.
Good morning. The administration already expanded some of its vetting for student visas a couple of months ago to include social media. Why are they taking this blanket approach, and are they targeting certain students in particular?
Well, to be clear, every foreign national seeking entry to the United States undergoes vetting. The goal is to ensure that a foreign national doesn't pose a security threat to the United States, whether it be terrorism-related, narcotics-related, or counterintelligence, and that foreign national isn't coming here under fraudulent pretenses, that they're not pretending to be someone they're not, or pretending, for example, to come here to study when, in fact, they're really a spy for a foreign government. And that's why the U.S. government extensively vets all foreign nationals seeking to come here as students. Chinese nationals get an added layer of security vetting because they pose such a major counterintelligence threat. And the social media vetting historically has been geared at ensuring that these individuals don't pose a security risk to the United States, and again, that they are who they say they are.
So, Sam, as this vetting process happens, can you talk in a little more detail about what would raise a red flag?
In the past, the vetting process has been designed to screen for any indication an individual can pose a threat to the United States. Are they making statements, for example, on social media that indicate that they might want to harm a U.S. citizen, that they might want to conduct some sort of terrorist attack in the United States? Are they a security threat? Or do they have some kind of tie to a foreign government? For example, as a Chinese national associated with the Communist Party in China and coming here to collect information that they're going to send back to the government. What we are learning now, Tony, is that the Trump administration may be considering changing the contours of that social media vetting to really look for any statements an individual makes on social media that don't jibe with what the Trump administration thinks on various policies. So that's a different use of our vetting architecture than what's been done in the past.
And so there's obviously a question of free speech, Sam. Do we know any specifics about the current directive at the State Department for this social media vetting? What will constitute something that crosses the line versus is considered speech?
Well, interestingly, social media vetting has been in place for several years for various categories of immigrants and people coming here on visas. Back in 2017, President Trump expanded social media vetting. And now the directive that he issued in January directs the State Department to take it even further. We do understand that the State Department may be looking for statements individuals make on social media, criticizing, for example, Israel's war in Gaza, and other statements that the administration thinks may be anti-Semitic based on its own judgment of what that means. The real issue, from my perspective, having worked on these issues extensively, is whether the State Department has the resources to do this kind of in-depth vetting. It is very human capital intensive and certainly takes a lot of time and attention.
Sam, we covered the drones over sensitive military installation story on this show a couple times, and there's a foreign national student who was arrested and is in jail now for espionage tied to those stories. Is that a sign that the current system of vetting those students doesn't work on some level?
Well, I will tell you, catching spies is very hard, and the vetting system is very good, but it does have gaps. And we know that our adversaries look for loopholes in the process, look for loopholes in the system. And that's why when an individual comes to the United States, the security process doesn't stop. Vetting should be ongoing, and individuals that are here are consistently monitored by law enforcement where appropriate, because we know that foreign governments do use students as non-traditional collectors to conduct their dirty work. And that's why the vetting architecture needs to be consistently updated, and individuals should be recurrently vetted. They should be vetted on an ongoing basis while they're on U.S. soil.
Sam, thank you very much. Super interested. Non-traditional collectors. I love the jargon in your industry. Much appreciated. Thank you.